For over 3,300 years, the Torah has been a living document, a guidebook for people of all ages, from ancient times to the modern age.
The story is told about Moses when he came down from Mount Sinai. He announced to the assembled people that he had both good news and bad news. The good news is, he said, in my negotiations with God, I was able to successfully bargain him down from 15 commandments to only 10. The bad news is, adultery is still in. After the revelation of Mount Sinai, where God reveals himself to the Jewish people amidst thunder and smoke, from atop a fiery mountain with blazing flames, which we read about last week, our Torah portion opens with the words, "And these are the judgments which you shall set before them." God sets out to legislate a series of moral and civil laws, the penalties for murder and kidnapping, the compensation for physical assault and damage to personal property, the various types of guardianship, and the rules governing the conduct of justice by the Jewish courts of law. In the Torah, there are actually three categories, three types of commandments. One, Mishbatim, which means judgments, the social and moral legislation, laws that are similar to those that every society espouses, laws that are firmly rooted in human logic. The second category, Edut, which are testimonies of our culture and history, commemorations such as Shabbat and Passover, laws that we can come to understand and appreciate. And finally, Chukim, decrees, laws such as spiritual purity and kosher observance, super-rational dictates that only the divine can comprehend, and we mortals follow on faith alone. If we think about it for a moment, isn't it odd that just after the awesome revelation on Mount Sinai, where God shows himself to 3 million men, women, and children, an event that still reverberates in all cultures and societies to this day, should be followed by laws and judgments that anyone could have come up with? I mean, we'd expect that God would take advantage of this special moment to try to impress upon this new people the chukim, the laws that utterly transcend our understanding, the mitzvot that are performed solely because of our deep faith and commitment to God, and our inseparable covenant with him. Why begin with a discussion of the most basic civil laws that every just and moral society upholds? The answer is the key word, "and these are the judgments." According to my English teacher, not the most proper way to begin a sentence. What's the message? The Midrash and the Kabbalah explain that the words, "and these are the judgments," and these are the judgments, that come just after the great revelation of Mount Sinai, teach us that just as the 10 Commandments were given by God, that they stem from his wisdom, that they are to be performed because it is his will, by the same token, all of the commandments, all of the mitzvot, even the obvious ones, are to be performed not merely because they are intellectually agreeable, but because they were given to us by God on Mount Sinai. We do not engage in theft, murder, lying, or cheating because we feel and understand that it is wrong to behave in such a manner, because it is against the norms of civilization to harm others, rather because God commanded us such. Although Judaism requires man to serve God with his intellect, using his heart and his mind, to try to understand and internalize the Torah and its commandments to the best of his abilities, ultimately, the core motivating factor in man's behavior, the foundation of one's observance of the mitzvot, is one's super-rational bond with God and the faithful acceptance of his directives. Even the judgments of reason must be founded upon the divine will, not merely upon the dictates of society. In every century, in every civilization, throughout our world's history, man's philosophy and outlook in life has shifted based upon the winds of change. In every generation, society's moral compass has pointed in increasingly different directions. Over the passage of time, great nations arose that modified the accepted norms and standards of society. They justified previously unaccepted behaviors and recast the unconventional and immoral lifestyles as conventional and moral. This week's Torah portion teaches us that the Torah's laws are not subject to the whims of society, nor are they up for a vote at the annual board meeting, but rather are an extraordinary opportunity for the Jew to bind himself with God, for man to connect with the divine. I'm Rabbi Benny Rappaport, and thank you for joining us.